So thanks for coming, everyone, for hanging out with us tonight again at Immigrant Tech is Alberta. And today we are collaborating, we are co-hosting this event with our friends at Nicerr. Robin, the Chief Strategy Officer, is here, and I'll be calling him to talk a little about Nicerr before we go into the discussion just after. I'm just going to share my screen right now, just talk a little bit about what we do here at Immigrant Tech Alberta, and yeah, especially if this is your first time joining us. Okay. So we are a tech enthusiast group with a focus on skilled immigrants. And this is just born out of the need to fill a gap that was observed in the ecosystem, where we have immigrant professionals who are already, I mean, before you come in as an economic immigrant, they have vetted you for English or French language proficiency. They've checked your health, your age matters, and of course your professional skills as well. So getting here and then trying to build a network, there's a gap between all the resources that were available for startups, for tech careers, compared to how immigrants are able to find their way. So this group was founded just to create that bridge so that you can lower that transaction energy for new Canadians. And so yeah, we represent a bridge into Alberta's innovation community and an exploratory space for those interested. So you don't have to be like a tech guru to be welcome here. In fact, we are particularly designed for explorers, people who are embarrassed about asking dumb questions. So here is the place you can ask any question. No question is dumb here, because it's seeker friendly. Like, you are exploring, this is your place. And through that, we provide opportunities for networking, for mentorship. There have been so many relationships that have developed here. So we bring in someone as a speaker and people from the community connect with them, and they are finding jobs or connections or ideas for startups. There are so many success stories there. So we curate emerging tech content, events, resources, career opportunities. So the whole goal is to provide community and support for immigrant professionals who desire to pivot to tech or are already in tech and are just hoping to advance. So for this particular event, we are partnering with Nicerr, who also shares very similar community goals. So I'll turn it over to Robin to talk quickly about Nicerr.
Awesome, thanks, Umi, and thanks for this opportunity, and really excited to be here. I think I have a presentation to share with everyone that kind of gives a flavor of what we do and why we do. And I want to kind of keep it informal and flowing. So if at any time anyone has questions, feel free to type it in the chat or raise your hand, whatever works for you, or feel free to just even speak up directly. And I'm joined today by with Parvati. So Parvati interned with me since October last year, right, Parvati?
Yeah, from October.
Yeah, so Parvati did this Tech Careers program at Manpower, and she interned with me at Nicerr for around 5 months, I would say, and then since March she's been working with Suncor. So she's a great example of how, being a new immigrant, she kind of did things right and got into the sector. So do you want to kind of quickly give like a minute or 2-minute intro, Parvati?
Sure, happy to. Well, yeah, as Robin mentioned, I have been a part of Nicerr till January. I joined Nicerr from October as an intern. So as you mentioned, I came to Calgary in last year in 2020, and I had uh, a difficult journey, I would say, but eventually I'm here. I'm right now working with Suncor as an automation specialist. So I've had a pretty great journey. So I'm happy to share the experiences that I've had, and I hope it will help some of you guys. So yeah.
Before you go on, Robin, if I could just introduce Kate as well. I was going to introduce Parvati and Kate for the discussion, but she also has some touch with Nicerr, like her journey, she passed through Nicerr somehow. So Kate, if you can do a quick intro as well, that would be great.
Yes, thanks, Vanmi. Yeah, actually, today is exactly 1 year since I pivoted into tech. So last year, June 15, last year, June 15, I enrolled in this tech skills to employment program at Bow Valley College. It's a data analytics program. I think it's half a year, 3 months theory and 3 months job placement. And then it took me about half a year to actually land a job. So as of May 6th, I've been employed and I work as a web developer. So I had a bit wavy path because, as you can see, I started as a data analyst and then I actually skilled into web development. And that's where actually Nicerr helped me a lot because when I finished the program, data analytics program, I already felt like I'm not sure if that's what I want to do because I actually like coding and programming more. Like out of everything that I've studied, like building databases and coding was like the best what I liked out of everything. And I remember I even wrote and said that I don't even know what kind of a mentor I need, but I explained my situation that I'm actually in a crossroad and I'm not sure. So, and I got really lucky with a great mentor who, so it was really nice. And he showed me all the gaps and went over with me with the plan. So it was pretty good. Yes, I had a really good experience. And then I had help with building my website for portfolio. Yeah, so it's been an amazing journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Awesome. Yep. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Parvati. And now I will share my screen. And if let me, can people see my screen? Hands up if thumbs up if you can. Okay. Perfect. So as I said, feel free to kind of ask questions in the chat or raise your hand, and then we'll kind of keep it interactive. It's not a really long presentation. I don't want to bore you. I want to spend a lot of time talking about things, but so this is kind of where we start, and it kind of touches on what Rafael was speaking just before the meeting started. And like at least 70% of jobs are not posted online. And the jobs typically people find are through the network. So who you know matters. And this is kind of the reason why we exist. I want everyone to kind of keep that in mind. And then I'll come back to it in a bit. But just a kind of bit about me. I am a newcomer. I was a newcomer myself. I came to Canada in 2011. The picture you see is my university, Queen's University in Kingston. This is where I did my MBA. And 2012, I moved to Calgary. And I've been here since. And my first job in Calgary was, surprise, surprise, oil and gas. 2012 was, Calgary was really booming. That time I got my job over a phone interview. And it's kind of crazy to see how the whole market has really changed since. And so I worked in oil and gas for around 5 years. The next 2 years I spent at a technology startup here in Calgary called Viram. So that was my pivot into tech. But I kind of joined a tech company in a sales role. So I was actually not kind of doing core tech, but it was a great experience for me to work with a technology company and see how the product evolved. how I did, as I said, I did a lot of sales, so it was also nice to see the business side of things. And in 2019, I left that company, started working on my own idea, which eventually became Nicerr as we launched in September 2019. So I've been full time on Nicerr like since over a year and a half. And the idea itself has kind of changed a lot. But what hasn't changed uh, since our launch is our kind of focus on community and helping people get to kind of their desired jobs and opportunities and careers. So, and then a bit like I stay in Calgary with my wife, with my 2-year-old daughter, and I really kind of love spending time in the mountains and wildlife. So that's about me. And then what I kind of want to focus this presentation is around how to find the opportunities you deserve. And I know a lot of people find it really hard. Parvati mentioned, Kate mentioned, it's not an easy journey, especially when you're trying to pivot into a new career. Uh, a lot of times, I'm sure Kate, Parvati, both of you might have heard you don't have Canadian work experience, right? Like a lot of employers here are so kind of hung up upon, have you worked here before? And uh, fortunately or unfortunately, this is the situation. And what I want to kind of tell everyone on the call today is that it's not really impossible to find those opportunities, but you have to kind of be at it, understand how the market works, and then position yourself accordingly. So first thing, your resume will not get you a job, your network will. So I'm kind of, as I said, I'm coming back to the first point I made where I said most of the jobs or careers in tech today, they are not posted. Like the way it goes is if a manager wants to hire someone in his or her team, he or she will go to the team and say, hey, do you know someone who can kind of do this job? And then if the team actually knows someone, that job will not even come to the market. And as someone who's trying to pivot into tech, as someone who's trying to kind of break into this market, it's really important for you to make sure that you build that network. Now I know COVID has kind of thrown a wrench in the whole networking scene. Like earlier, it was comparatively easier for people to go for chats, to go for coffees, and what I've been hearing from people is that the virtual networking really does not give the same flavor, especially if you're attending webinars or something. But again, the good news here is that if you can't meet in person, other people can too. So you are on a level playing field. And something is better than nothing. So I still kind of encourage people to reach out to people, to ask for advice, to kind of just start building that network. And one of the things that I highly recommend is understand that networking is a two-way street. Like don't just approach people for a favor or for something you want. Just kind of look at it from the point of view, what can you give back? And I know a lot of times when we are talking to people who are high up or really employed, it's very hard to say, hey, what can I really give back to this person? He or she has everything. But just understanding that even in a conversation, just listening to what that person, writing a thank you note, reiterating some of the things that were discussed, this in itself is like giving back to this person because you are kind of trying to tell this person that, hey, I was listening and your time kind of matters.
Mm-hmm. And just to amplify how, when you say resumes don't get you a job, networking will, it sounds cute, but it's really disheartening in the sense that if you're a new Canadian, you left your network, all the network you've built all your life, you left it somewhere else. So you're here just trying to build everything up, and then they tell you your resume won't get you a job. So it's a big deal, is what I'm trying to say. Or if you are more introverted than others, So how do you actually bridge that gap for people that don't have the same kind of personality if their resume won't get them the job, right?
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So I actually have been working on this issue because I feel a lot of people are actually introverts, and it's not kind of uh, easy for them to just put them out, talk to people, approach them. But again, I feel that this is something where people need to understand that if they need to have a career, and I'm not talking about any job here, I'm talking about a job that people feel that they truly deserve. It's not just another job, it's a job that they truly want. So you have to kind of, it's hard to come out of the shell, but I kind of recommend people to just start doing one meeting a week, one meeting every 2 weeks. Just kind of learn from every meeting, try to build that relationship, and don't see it as networking. As I said, just see it as something that, hey, I want help from someone, but where can I help that person? So the second thing, which is really important, and it kind of applies only to tech, is don't tell them, show them. I think before this, I started presenting, Kate talked about a portfolio, right? And this is something which can you just give me 1 minute?
Sure, no worries.
Just
You okay?
sorry, yeah, my daughter came in, so. So yeah, so this is kind of something which I really think it's very important for people in tech, because the competition is high. There are a lot of opportunities. And what I kind of, this is me telling my story from an employer point of view, is I really, really give a lot of importance to people who are actually building stuff, not just writing about things in the resume. So I know GitHub or people use different ways, but if you have a project that you can show to an employer, nothing beats it. People like to kind of hire people who are building things, who can kind of demonstrate through the project that, hey, look what I did. And then having that employer uh, kind of link that their current work to what the employer wants, right? So this is kind of very important. One of the things that I kind of get asked a lot here is, hey, so what should we build? I don't have any idea. And to me, I'm like, don't worry about the idea. Even if you can just clone something that's existing in the market, saying, hey, this thing exists, I built a clone of it, and here are 2 features that I think that this should have. This is such a great way to start a conversation. This is such a great way to tell someone that you have that built action bias, right? And one of the actual kind of, I was discussing this with someone else, is when you start working on projects, those projects actually become such a great way to break the ice. Like you can actually approach people in industry and say, hey, I'm building X and I got stuck in Y. Can you help me? And now you are kind of moving away that conversation from like a networking to actually seeking help from someone. And those kind of conversations actually have a lot of success rates. Like I hear people saying, if someone approaches me on LinkedIn and says, I need career advice, I typically don't kind of get back to them. But when people actually approach with very specific asks, saying, hey, can you give 30 minutes to review my resume? Can you give 30 minutes because I'm stuck here and I need your ideas here? These are the kind of things that people can't say no to because they actually like those conversations. They know what you want, they know what they can give you, and it's kind of a win-win for both.
Mm. I like Kate to jump in here. So first one was networking, second was show, don't tell. How have you applied this, Kate? Have you?
Yes, in terms of networking, I also would like to add, when you said also it's a two-way communication. Another way I would put it is if you're more introverted and not comfortable reaching right away people. Like I call it like cold calls, for example, even to reach somebody on LinkedIn who you don't know, but ask them something. For me, for example, it wasn't comfortable even to do it through messaging sometimes, because I don't know, I just felt like, why would I ask someone who I don't even know to do something for me? I already felt a bit, I don't know, not sure. But what really helped for me is that the connection is supposed to be meaningful and genuine. And if you show yourself that you actually maybe not so comfortable talk a lot or something, but you can tell right away why you're here, what you're looking for, what you bring to the table. So I think that's another way how you can approach it, and just be honest. For example, for me, it works a few times because I was struggling initially with the whole concept of networking, because for me, I felt like it was like a task, you know, like a job to be done. It didn't feel natural for me because everyone, I went to so many meetings where everyone kept telling networking. But I think I didn't understand at the beginning the whole idea, like what does it actually mean? It's not just something that you do. Well, for me, for example, when it feels more natural and you don't look at it like it's a task that you need to do, it's not a job for you to do it, but it's a natural. And when you just kind of just connect to people and you talk about some other stuff, for example, the way I do it, I just ask what do they like about their job right now, what they don't like, any challenges. And then another good thing that Robin mentioned is talk about portfolio. So then you get excited and you can talk about, if someone asks you, what are you working on now? Or what are you doing now? You can start talking about your projects. And that's when I always get excited and get carried away. And I'm like, oh, I keep talking and talking and talking. And I think that's another thing that gets other people interested in me, because they see how you're excited about something, right? You're motivated. And I think that's what gets others to notice you as well, when they see your motivation, your interest, that you're working on something. And yeah, just take it one step at a time. As also Robin mentioned, you can do, I don't know, one connection a week or one meeting a week, or maybe just after joining some meetup or something, you met somebody and you can just continue carry on some casual conversation after. You don't have to just basically go through the whole list and adding people and bombarding them. You can like start with something more casual and more comfortable for you. I think that's like whatever works best for you and more natural for you, I think that will work the best overall.
I totally agree with you, Kate. And the good thing is, in Calgary, people are friendly. I can tell you that for sure.
Yes.
Even if they don't have the time, they will connect you with someone that does. Or if they can't help you, they'll tell you who can.
They will direct you. Yeah.
So don't. And a lot of immigrant backgrounds are very conservative. So that might be something we will need to challenge ourselves about, like taking that first step, reaching out to someone on LinkedIn. It could really feel like a big deal, but just do it. I mean, what's the worst that will happen? That they don't respond. So what, right?
Or Slack channel also good, because you text still like could be a easier step to reach out to somebody through Slack channel and then carry on maybe into the video chat.
Parvati, I don't know if you want to add something to that, like what community resources were you able to use for your network, and how did you get a chance to show people your work even before?
I think when I speak, it is going to be a lot of repetition of what Robin and Kate said, because I also went through the same path pretty much. I'm not natural at networking. It doesn't come to me naturally, and I'm pretty sure most of us are on the same path. So, well, for me, again, I went with the old style of connecting with LinkedIn, sending a message asking, can you connect with me? But I found that it didn't give me a lot of response, but instead asking in a better way and striking a conversation with them, I realized that helps better. But these are some tricks that I learned along the way, and I consider myself to be an introvert. It was not easy for me talking to strangers, saying, "Hey," and "What's up?" I'm not that kind of a person, so it was difficult for me as well. But what helped me understand is, for me, being a developer myself, I understood that I could connect with them, saying we had something common in interest as an interest. We both like, of course, I'm connecting to the developers out there. So I knew there was something common in between us. And I chose that as a topic of conversation to start off with. And yeah, for some of the invites, I would say, "Hey, are you interested in this? I'm working on this. Do you know something about this?" So these kind of conversation help me connect with more people, and a lot of them help me like give advices to understand what is hard in industry, which career path should I take, where am I stuck at. So this has helped me, of course. So networking is key, and I would say never give up an opportunity when there is an opportunity to network. Never give up on that. And as also Robin said, along with that, we also have to make sure we need to build a very strong portfolio. So yeah, for instance, for GitHub, while you're doing the job search, along with that parallel, you have to make sure you're keeping yourself updated, like learn more technologies, keep doing projects on them, don't give up on yourself, and just keep doing more. And I know for sure there are companies out there who look like, for instance, like they say when they get an application, they even check how active this candidate is in GitHub. And there is a tracker in GitHub that says this person has pushed this many projects in 1 month. So it's like, can employers look for that? So if you have done a lot of projects in GitHub, it is being reflected that you are active. You were doing something, even though you were not working with someone, you were still working on something, and you are fresh. Your knowledge is fresh. So that is something. So you have to keep doing that, I guess. So yeah, and about resources, you have to keep looking out for more and keep yourself updated. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So in your case, Parvati, you were already a developer before you got to Canada. Is that it?
Yes, I worked in India for about 1.5 years as a developer before coming to Calgary. And yeah, as soon as I reached Calgary, I did a lot of research, as usual, Google research. And yeah, I kind of understood what is a market trend, where to go to. And yeah, I got a
So it
lot
was
of
still necessary to do some upskilling kind of training.
Yes, I I took a training with SATE provided by Tech Careers Manpower Group. So that is also something I wanted to mention. Knowing what resources are available to you is very important. So in Calgary, as I understand, Alberta government is providing a lot of opportunities for people like us to do upskill our skills. A lot of free programs, in fact. So I did a program with Tech Careers with Manpower Alberta, which was again a free course. It was a 4 months course, after which I did my internship with Nicerr. So this is how I started my journey, and Nicerr helped me along the way a lot. So even I did hosting for a Nicerr website, which I probably showed on my resume, and which I believe has helped me to reach where I am. So yeah, knowing your resources and knowing what is available out to you has helped me a lot.
And is that what you're doing at Sunco right now? Web development? Is it still in that field? Okay.
Yes, at Sunco right now, I'm working as a automation specialist, working on Python development and doing the automation tasks for the networking team.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, Robin, sorry we took that away from you. You can continue with the slides now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you can see my screen?
Yes, but we can see you.
Perfect. So yeah, no, I think what Parvati said is what the next point was. And I know it's a tough journey. People go through a lot, but I think it's really important to believe in yourself and make sure that you have a growth mindset. Don't let your past determine what you can do in future. Keep learning new things. As Kate mentioned too, like she did this program in Po Valley College, Parvati did this program in SAIT and Tech Careers. There are a lot of opportunities out there available. So take use of these opportunities. Make sure that you are kind of uh, in touch with what's going on, and then like just don't give up. I know it may take some time to build those networks to kind of get these opportunities, but trust me, they will happen. And then I think this is kind of the last slide uh, on the core side, because I feel that this is a great time to be in technology, like because of the pandemic, how we work, live, and play has changed. A lot of opportunities are now opening up. Technology is at the center of this change. And I feel that because of this, a lot of people who are moving into tech right now will have really good opportunities in the future. And yeah, so that's basically from my side. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or send me an email, robin@nicerr.me.
Mhm.
And what I just want to do is take 2 minutes more to kind of quickly explain what we do at Nicerr.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like, so how is Nicerr solving this problem? How
Yeah,
are
so
you helping people connect, helping them with the networking piece?
right. Yeah. So I think a lot of points which Kate and Parvati mentioned is what we feel is a lot of people are not just kind of really natural at reaching out to people and starting conversations. So we at Nicerr have created this platform which allows people who are looking for jobs or career advice directly with experienced industry professionals. So since Kate used the platform has actually changed a bit. And what we have done now is we allow people to create listings. These are like a listing that you would create on, let's say, a Craigslist or Kijiji, but this is a listing where people ask for career advice or job search advice, but with a very specific ask saying, hey, I want this conversation to focus on my resume, or I want this conversation to focus on interview prep or career advice. So something like this, like these are rough shots. So for example, on the first screen, you see that someone posted this listing. They wanted resume feedback for data analyst position.
So,
And
sorry. Does the job seeker create a profile or the employer?
so the job, so this is not a profile, this is a listing.
Listing, okay.
Yeah, so what we are doing is we are allowing people who are looking for jobs or careers to create anonymous listings. So you would see that the listing doesn't disclose the name or the profile. They
Mm-hmm.
just say that, hey, this person is looking for resume feedback for data analyst role, or this person is looking for Y. And then these listings are then posted to the community and to our corporate partners. And people from like our members, or we call them guides, they see these listings and then they volunteer on the listings. And they say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I can help this person. And as soon as they say, I can help this person, and this person actually reviews the profile and says, yeah, please connect me, we go ahead and schedule a video call. So we make that first meeting happen. And then after that first meeting, both the parties are kind of willing to say, hey, we want to meet for two more times, 4 more times, whatever it kind of uh, like we don't kind of force parties to meet again and
Mm-hmm.
again, because sometimes we feel that one meeting is enough. Sometimes we feel that 2 or 3 meetings are needed, but we kind of leave it up to seekers and the guides. So as I said, what we are trying to create is bridging this gap where people sometimes feel awkward to reach out to people directly on LinkedIn and say, I need.
Right.
And then we are also gamifying the system. So every listing has like minutes. And now we are working with companies to say, hey, can we kind of gamify this within the companies so that, let's say, in a company, if there are 50 employees, all employees actually become volunteers on Nicerr and they start kind of getting badges. I think a lot of people might be familiar with Stack Overflow, and that's what we are trying to emulate in the giving environment.
Mm.
So yeah, that was the last slide actually, and now we can do some discussion, some Q&A.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think what you're doing on Nicerr is really brilliant because you're essentially bridging the networking gap. And I see how valuable that is for people who are new or just don't have the kind of personality it takes to be the life of the party, kind of, right? So I just want to, I'm going to spotlight your videos now, all the co-hosts. Give me a minute to do that. Okay, it looks like I can do it for everyone except myself, so that's great. So I have Kate, I have, no, I don't have Kate.
Yeah, we can also keep it interactive. I would actually like.
That's great. I like how I can see all three of you in the center.
Sweet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like.
Yeah, so I can see that in the discussion, Kate and Parvati already shared their portfolio. And this is what I would like to ask in terms of portfolio. So if you're not a developer or a data analyst, if you're an aspiring product manager or customer success manager, what do you think the profile, your portfolio should contain? How can you build a portfolio if you are not very tech centric?
And by product, you mean
can
like
answer,
UI, UX? Sorry, one me.
Go
for
on,
the
please.
Yeah, for the product, you mean like UI, UX design, or like not tech related at all?
Yeah, it could be UI, UX. I'm just wondering, like, for GitHub is usually for devs, right? That's
for data analytics, for data science as well, like for all those projects for R, Python. Yeah, it's also good for it.
So if I want to cross into product management, what kind of portfolio can I build? Will it be focused on UX, UI, which doesn't necessarily have to be the strength of a product manager, right? I'm just wondering, how do you do that?
I'm not sure about product managers, to be honest.
If anyone in the audience wants to say something, please unmute yourself and go for it.
Can I jump in and say
something?
Ever hear me? Okay, yeah. So
I can't tell who's talking.
Stan here.
Okay, go on, please.
So there's also other websites such as Medium that you can write blog posts to share knowledge. So if product management is what you like to pursue, I'll recommend you to build a Medium portfolio there instead. And you can also include those in your resume.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, I can also pitch in a bit, and like I feel that people who are working specifically in UI UX have actually kind of more ways to build that portfolio. I've seen a lot of people just kind of build a small website on their own, which kind of shows their projects and their thinking. I think Stan had a great point. People write a lot of stuff, and that writing kind of gives a glimpse into how this person thinks as a designer or the product manager. Certain roles, as Bhumi, you said, customer success manager, I feel might be hard to kind of showcase from a portfolio point of view. But again, it's kind of taking a call on whatever you can kind of demonstrate to potential employers to show that you are a fit for the company or the role always helps.
Yeah, Medium is valuable in that. I know a lot of product managers that document their thoughts on Medium, because that it's like you're showing people how you think, how you solve problems. And even though it's just writing, it shows the skill set for that. Yeah, I think that was great. Okay, so other than, let me just ask, like, how, I'll ask Kate this one. How were you able to find your way? Like, how did you know to go to SAIT? How did you know to approach Nicerr? Like, what kind of community resources in Calgary have you used? Like,
That's when
mention them.
Yeah.
And you
That's
had
when
a
my
slide.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Sorry,
when
I
it's gonna be
forgot.
handy. No, that's
Yeah, you can share it now, please. I forgot.
no, can you use it? Okay, one sec. So yeah, I prepared this like a one pager basically showing like
So
how
I'm just gonna take Robin and Parvati off spotlight for Kate.
How my resources kind of progressed and grew. Okay, so everything's okay, you can see it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically it's just my timeline here. So as I said, it's been exactly a year up to date when I started Tech Skills to Employment program at Bow Valley College. And as I mentioned before, it's data analytics. So I got unemployed in March 2020 due to COVID. And I had this time to actually think about what I want to do, because since I came to Calgary, I was mostly working on those so-called survival jobs. And I didn't have time to pause and to actually think like what I want to do, because I wanted to work somewhere where I could develop further. And I always wanted like some food for my brain, something challenging. So, and actually this whole COVID situation gave me a good pause to actually think about what I want and try something new. And I was so like excited and amazed that I actually liked coding and programming, and I would never think before that I would actually enjoy it. But anyway, so I ended up going to this Tech Skills to Employment program. So it's been 6 months program. At that moment, in tech community and overall, I didn't have much resources, no understanding, I didn't know anybody. Only the instructors from the Tech Skills to Employment program, and then some people, some students from previous cohorts who also were coming to speak to us, to the new cohort, and tell us about their experience. Stan Chen, for example, here, one of those, he's from the previous cohort from BBC. He also gave me a couple of great mentorship tips. So thanks, Stan. And yeah, so at that moment, I also found out about Rainforest Alberta. So we had this project, job placement project, after 3 months of theory. And 4 of us, we were placed to work on this project for Rainforest Alberta. And that's when I started going to those weekly meetings. So they have lunch without lunch. I also was participant of Libby Fund. That's how I met Vunmi. Mm-hmm. And also there's a Slack channel for Rainforest where you also can join multiple channels. And there's so many great resources. There's so many great people there with varied experience and background. So it's a pretty good starting point. And actually from Rainforest, that's how I found out about Nicerr. So as you can see on right block over here, when I finished the course, and from December 2020 to March, that's when I was pivoting into web development. And that's when the list of my resources grew, because, and most of those actually, it's all like a chain. So from one, you have like more and then more from each one. So it's like a three kind of structure. You find out more and more, the more people you see, the more into the more events you go. So it took me, yes, a couple of months to skill into web development, to build the personal website. At that moment, I also tried networking, and I don't think it was working for me the way it was supposed to. I think I still wasn't sure if I'm doing the right thing. And I think part of it was because I didn't think clearly on my value proposition. And that's actually what I found out when I already joined another community, Careers in Technology and Innovation. There was a great discussion there about it. And that's when I got to think about, okay, because maybe I didn't put it in my head and in writing simple bullet points, what is my value proposition and what I can do and what I bring to the table. Maybe that's why it's hard for me sometimes to tell people what I'm looking for. When they ask me a question, I sometimes don't know how to say something or explain. So to think about your value proposition and to decide exactly what you want to do, I think that's another thing that can help a lot when you start networking. And yeah, as you can see, the list of the resources keeps growing and growing. And as I said, it's like you meet one person or you go to one event, you join one community, and then like 2 or 3 more new connections or new events or new communities like open the door and you explore more and more. And I also made a asterisk point here, as I mentioned before, to make sure that your connection is meaningful and that you're being authentic to yourself. So if you're an introvert, it's okay to be an introvert. You still can reach to people, and there are people who are like you and they will understand you, and it will never be a problem, I think, and it will never be on your way, because like the right people meet right people, and you will end up with a company that will be comfortable for you, and their work culture will be comfortable for you. So yep, so that's just a quick time frame of my journey.
Yeah, thank you so much for this slide. So if you're new and you're wondering, okay, what meetup can I join, or where can I seek support, like this snapshot that Kate provided, it's spot on. And
it could be even more of those.
Yeah,
I'm not even
more,
sure I captured all of them, to be honest. Yes,
there are a lot more, but these are just like Rainforest Alberta is that first stop. Like you want to know what's happening in tech and innovation, go to Rainforest Alberta first. From there,
yes,
things kind of.
From there, you will find out about Nicerr and about all other local startups, like even Neo Financial, Harvest Builders, Attribotics, I think. I don't want to butcher those guys' name, but basically, yeah, the majority of all those small startup companies, those guys are usually also there presenting about their experience, their journey, how they started their startups. So that's how you actually see what's going on in the community, and that's how you can already start reaching people and just meeting somebody, and not just to look for a job, but just to ask them, like, what's their journey, like how did they get to this point, like what do they like about it, like what's exciting, and what are the challenges that they have. And that's how you start the conversation, and that's how it looks more natural, and not like you're there to ask for the job right away or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And Kate, she doesn't like saying this, but she's also an entrepreneur. She, in the midst of looking for a job and pivoting,
fun. Yes,
she started a business as well. It's a tech startup.
Yeah,
right?
But I never actually went far with it. So yes, as Wumi mentioned, we met through this Libby Fund. It's a Leaders Innovation Big Ideas Fund, basically for people who had any idea to start a startup or any innovation, technical innovation. My idea was pretty simple in a way. I wanted to make it easier for people who live who rent and have like slight windows and balconies. There's a problem with ventilation in older buildings, I've noticed personally, and as someone who comes from Europe, here somehow there is no proper ventilation inside the buildings, and you have to always open your windows, and when it's winter, it's a huge problem because it's -30 and you can't keep your window open for long. So yeah, I had this idea how to come up with something that you can install in your window frame, and it can the air can circulate through it, and kind of like the whole. So long story short, I got a notice that they're gonna change the window frames and balcony frames in my apartment, and I was taking measurements from the old ones. So, so for now everything is put on pause because I have to figure out. I can't keep changing the measurements every time when somebody changes the measurements of the window frames. But yeah, I had this idea, but so far it didn't. Yeah, it didn't get farther than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the message here is that even if you want to start a business, you want to spring a startup, you have the resources you need. You don't have to have been in Canada for a long time. Yes. You don't need to have you don't have, it doesn't matter how new you are in Canada. If you want to have a business, it's not that hard, especially in the startup space, because there are resources. I mean, when I say it's not hard, it will be challenging, but that momentum, that inertia you have to overcome to get going, you have a lot of support in the community to get you off the ground. So if that's your dream, if you're not even looking for a job, you want to start something, you're in the right place as well. You have all the resources.
Definitely. And I think Rainforest, Alberta specifically, is good for people who have entrepreneurial set of mind, for someone who has an idea for startups or any type of innovations, because also there are lots of members who have huge experience in those type of things, and whatever questions you have, they will always tell you or give you advice where to look for or what to do and what not to do. Plus, I think the support is not only from community, but I think also from the Alberta government as well, because I think with all the downfall of the oil and gas industries, they're really trying now to help people to basically get up and move further and move up. And I think I feel a lot of support, especially for people who want to pivot from some industries that now in a downturn. And I think they now also trying to nourish and support the innovation ecosystem and startup ecosystem in Calgary as well. So I think it's community support and government support for sure.
Yeah, that's a nice segue to what I wanted to ask Parvati next. And so please, let's put our questions in the chat. Let's have questions from the audience, not just my questions. So Parvati, so in your case, you did a tech skill, but still ended up in oil and gas, right?
Sorry?
You still ended up in an oil and gas company. So yes, even though you have a tech skill, you're not working in the tech space, quote and unquote, right? So how did that work out? Because, and what I want you to speak to is the fact that people don't have to completely throw away whatever skills they have in the industry they are in. That even if oil and gas as a whole is not as vibrant as it used to be, they will also need tech talent, right? So
that's absolutely true.
Kate, if you could stop sharing your screen.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to look for the button, how to do it, and I can't find it.
Oh, just go stop share where you shared before.
It says new share.
A great screen. Okay.
Oh,
great slide.
Okay.
Well, in my case.
Yeah, go on, Parvati.
Yeah, in my case, yes, even though I started my journey concentrating a lot on tech, but eventually, as you said, I ended up in oil and gas company. But I don't think that has that was never a concern for me in which sector I land up in, as long as I get to do development and as long as I get to work on something that I love. So I don't think we need to be very specific about which industry we go to, at least in the beginning. First job lands us more opportunities. So I would say first focus on getting the first job, and then if you have, people might have specific industry preferences, then jump from there and then go, I would say. So what led me to joining the company, I would say it all started with me when I came here. Actually, I knew only very few people. I knew rarely, like 3 or 4 people in Calgary here. And so I asked them, like, help me, how do I start? So one of them referred me to the Newcomer Center. I'm pretty sure most of you might have heard about them. And I went there and I talked to a career counselor. So she told me what are the different options that I have, what are the different courses that are available. She talked to me about SIVA, the Calgary Immigrant Women's Association, and even told me about a course that they are providing. So eventually I ended up calling them, but yeah, but unluckily the course had already started for me. And so when I was talking to them, I just mentioned how interested I am in their program, and it's so unfortunate that I couldn't join on time. So seeing my plight, they actually referred me to some other program, and that was a tech careers program that I eventually applied to, and I got an opportunity there. So yeah, I'm happy that it all turned out so well. And yeah, as mentioned, as a part of that course, I got to do internship, and about 5 months of internship, which I kept in my resume as my local experience. I started applying, and I'm happy to say that the job that I landed with, I got through networking. When I landed in Calgary, which was in last year Feb, I went to an event in March. I met a person there whom I said, see, I have so-and-so experience. Just let me know if you know something. And thankfully, after 9 months, he remembered me when something came up in his company with Suncor, and he gave me a call, asking, hey, are you still looking? So with that, I would say never give up on anything. We might not know where the help comes from. So it could be a small conversation that you had while getting a coffee, or it could be something very interesting. So we never know where the help would come from. So for me, it was, I'm very thankful that he reached out to me. He thought about me and he reached out to me. And yeah, so
that means you made an impression.
I hope so.
Which made him remember, right?
Yeah, I consider that as a luck as well, that he remembered me at the right moment. Yeah, and yeah, eventually I got the job. So I would say don't give up on yourself, believe in yourself, just keep trying more and more. We never know where the help is going to come from.
So Robin, if you could just talk about how can people access the Nicerr service you described earlier. So if someone wants to list their resume on Nicerr, how do we go about that?
Yeah, so again, the platform actually goes through a lot of changes. We are constantly upgrading. The new platform is about to launch this week or next, but it's really easy. People go there, they sign up, and as I said, they create a listing. So they just put what role are they targeting. They have to write a little blurb to tell kind of the professionals a little about themselves, so that the professionals are in a better position to say they won't.
Is there a link you can share?
It's nicerr.me. I can share.
Okay, just the website.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's front and center on the website.
Okay.
And then, as I said, we are actually kind of working on the new version.
You sent that to me, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll send it to everyone.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a community-based system. So like I think the onus is on the job seeker or the advice seeker to create a listing that attracts the interest, which is very similar to how you will start a conversation with a person. So, but yeah, once people list it, people from the community see those listings, they offer to help, and we help set up the first video call. And then hoping that these kind of calls help job seekers find careers or the job they are actually going after. Or as Kate mentioned, like a lot of times people may not really know if they are attracted by a particular field. So we also give people an option to talk about saying, hey, I just want to know about this role or this career or this industry. So it's a lot about career advice and stuff, not just very focused.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Robin. You said you had to run. We will be rounding off soon, but if you have to go quickly, that's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
Thanks
sorry.
for coming.
I have another call at 8, so I will be going. But yeah, thanks so much, Bhumi, for inviting me. I really had a great time kind of talking to a lot of people. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Parvati. Really kind of nice listening to your stories and making kind of
Mhm.
really good to see you both helping others in the community too. So hope to kind of see everyone soon when the restrictions open. And till that time, stay safe.
All right, see you, Robin.
Thanks, Robin.
Bye.
So
Bye.
before everyone jumps off, I just added a Google sheet there. It's just an email list. So there's a lot we are planning to roll out to help immigrant professionals. And sometimes it's hard to communicate these things through Meetup because it's like a third party in between. So if you're comfortable, you want to drop your email to our email list, that's the form there. Like it's, I wanted people to know if they wanted to do that, not just harvest some emails anyhow, you know what I mean? So please.
Sorry, Wumi.
Yes.
Sorry, Wumi, the spreadsheet is not editable. It's just to view only.
Okay, hold on. Editor. Okay, I'm just updating it now.
Perfect, thank you.
Can you try again?
Yeah, I'm trying, and it's loading.
I can just copy it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
it seems that now it's allowing me edit. Thank you.
Good. All right. So the other thing, I just wanted to also get your feel for how would you want us to run our program during summer, like in July and August? So yeah, like we usually have twice a month meetings. So do you want us to reduce that? Do you want to cancel it altogether, or like, yeah. So let me know what you think there. Can you see the poll? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so does anyone else have a comment, a question, anything they would like to add? No? Stan, I felt like you have a little more to share. Don't ask me how I know. I just feel you have a little more to share.
I'm totally a guest here. Just hop on the meeting just to audit, I guess. So what do you want to know?
Okay, so are you in tech, or are you just curious, or?
I went to the same program Kate and Ashley also went to. I guess I'm one cohort ahead of it. Right now I'm working as a data engineer at Skip.
Nice.
Skip the dishes. Me personally, I think I would like to consider I'm an immigrant also, although it was years ago, but still. And could be hard, I guess. But I would like to put my honest opinion out there. In this tech industry here, being immigrant or not, I don't think it's a deal maker or deal breaker. Everything very much depends on how well you're positioned in the job market, or if your offering is solving somebody's pain point, or is it bringing value to some company. Either it's a venture or a company or a group. It really depends on the problem, not so much on your background. I mean, sometimes it matters a lot, but just as all the speakers said, capturing the problem, I think that would be the silver bullet right here. So I would recommend you to focus your attention and put your energy on finding the problems and solving the problems. Yep, that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Stan. So my polling is showing nothing. I don't know. Okay, Chisholm had a question, and I know Raphael also had his hand up. So Chisholm is saying, what was the recruitment process like for you getting your current roles? I think Parvati touched on that a bit, talking about the contact you made. So Kate, if you want to talk about that, what was the recruitment? Did you just did you just apply online, or did you have someone on the inside?
For me, applying online and submitting my resumes through official channels never worked, like zero retention rate. It was like sending resume in a black hole. So for me also, networking worked, and I got lucky because that's when I already came up with the new strategy. As I mentioned before, I decided not to do cold calls and first find the person through LinkedIn and then talk, because I don't know the person yet. I decided I should first meet the person, and then once I know the person, then I can feel more comfortable reaching out after and maybe asking for advice or job or something. And there were two events that month. I think it was March or April. It was a big tech event. I think my goodness, tech talent or something. And then the second one was Women Hack. So basically they will get all the interested local tech companies and then all the attendees. And then there will be like those discussion rooms where you can ask questions of the company representatives. It could be an HR representative, or sometimes it could be just a manager or IT professional who works in that company. So I attended both of those. That's where I got to actually practice my new strategy. So the first event wasn't that successful, but the second one I actually enjoyed. It was Women Hack. And sorry for guys, but it was ladies only, ladies only event. Women Hack, they also try to help females to get into tech. And I really liked it because actually I got an opportunity to personally, well, not personally, but like I'm talking now to you through the webcam, but like one-on-one to meet and ask questions of the representatives that were currently there from local companies. So I actually made really nice connections, and not only job related. I also met several girls who I still keep in contact with on LinkedIn. They're also in tech, and it was nice just to meet all type of different people who are, some of them also looking for jobs and some representatives. So yes, and anyhow, I think I've met several representatives from couple of local companies, and I blended 2 interviews from that event. So, and out of those 2 interviews, one got me a job. So it was pretty fast at that point. It was basically I got like, like those Pareto rule, 80-20 rule.
Right.
So I got the most out of all that, like out of just one event, but it was very nice, and I really liked the people that I connected to with, and we had a real nice conversation. At that moment, I didn't actually ask them much. I didn't actually tell them much about myself and what I'm looking for and trying to sell myself. I was mostly asking them. I was asking them about their work environment, what do they do, and that type of things. And after that, we follow up on LinkedIn, and that's when, for example, they send me a link to this position, for example. So yeah, it was great experience, and Women Hack helped me to get those interviews. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Raphael, if you could quickly ask a question, we are way over time.
I just wanted to thank Wami for organizing this and to get us together. I'm just recently pivoting into tech, and I am enrolled into an Inception U program. I don't know if anybody has heard of it. has a lot of support from Rainforest Alberta, and I highly recommend it. But I think a lot of you already are deep in techie, so I'm just a newcomer into that realm. So thank you for organizing this, Mami.
You're very welcome, Raphael. Yes, we have a lot of Inception U graduates and current students in and out of this group. So we recognize the great work that Inception U is doing in the space. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for hanging out with us, everyone. You have a great evening. Thank you, Parvati. Thank you for Kate. Thanks, Robin, also. Yeah, we appreciate you spending your evening with us. So yeah, if anyone wants to stay on the line, I will leave the room open. And by the way, you didn't help me much with this poll. I still have 50-50%. So yeah, thanks. Yeah.
I actually feel
you have the deal breaker vote.
Maybe one of the votes was me. I said once a month because I was like, oh, okay, because I think it'd still be valuable to do at least once, because I think things do drop off in the summer. So it's interesting. So when I was doing my list this week of events, I was like, what is going on? Because there was like a lot of events this week, and I'm like, is everybody like just jamming them in? Because I know that events sort of fall right off like in July and August. So I'm very curious. So yeah, no.